Hi, I'm Josiah,
And I'm Elizabeth.
and this is Worth Watching. Don't you think it's ironic that a band who's famous for having a lead singer that sounds like a woman's most famous song is Walk Like a Man?
Hello and welcome to this episode of Worth Watching. Today we are reviewing Jersey Boys.
Alright, so this movie follows sort of the formation and life of the Four Seasons, the band with Frankie Valli as the lead singer, famous for his high falsetto voice and high voice in general. And the movie is based on the Broadway hit musical, and the film was directed by Clint Eastwood.
So I was surprised in this movie. I didn't recognize any of the actors because they were all from the Broadway musical.
Right, they're not film actors who you recognize, they're all Broadway actors.
And all of them, their accents fit really well. They all had that Jersey accent and it didn't sound fake or anything.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job with that, and I thought that their chemistry as characters worked really well together. Like, the four main guys all bounced off each other really well and just worked really well as a single unit. And I was personally surprised because I was expecting this to be like a full-blown like musical where suddenly in the middle of scenes people would break out into song and dance numbers and stuff. That never happens throughout this whole movie until like actually the end credits. They're actually the only music in the movie is them performing actual Four Seasons songs as the Four Seasons in the movie, which I thought actually worked really well with the film and made me take it a little more seriously and allowed it to feel a bit more like a Clint Eastwood kind of honest drama film that he's so good at doing, rather than feeling kind of weird mixture of that and a musical.
And because Clint Eastwood produced and directed this movie, like he threw little bits and pieces in there, like on the TV screen was one of his old movies playing, and then his daughter, I actually recognized she was in it.
Yeah.
And that surprised me. I thought that was kind of cool.
Another thing that this movie surprised me about was that it kind of made me a bigger fan of the Four Seasons. Like, I was never really a fan of them in the past, but watching this movie, I got to learn stuff about them, and I got to listen to more of the music and kind of have a chance to enjoy it and stuff. So it actually made me a bigger fan of the Four Seasons and gave me sort of a cool little look behind the scenes at the life of the band.
Although the singing in this movie, like, I thought it was superb. Like,
Yeah,
it was great.
all the actors are great singers.
But there were some parts, like, they'd lip sync it, and it wouldn't quite match up, and that bothered me a little bit.
Yeah, and it's weird though, because I think for the most part, it said that most of the songs were actually performed live on sets. There must have been some that were lip synced or overdubbed and stuff like that, and those moments didn't work as well. But for when they're performing live, it's really cool to watch, and they really sound like the Four Seasons. And so it's easy to forget that it's actually them performing it, not the original tracks by the original band. I also really like the cinematography from this movie. It's shot very much like an older film. There's not a lot of camera movement, and when there is, it's these slow tracked dolly shots. And at times you actually kind of feel like you're watching a Broadway play just with the way things are framed, the way people are positioned and stuff, which I really enjoyed.
One thing that bothered me a little bit was they kind of drug out the movie. It was kind of long for me. Like, I did get bored for a quick second, I'm not gonna lie. But then they had these parts where they didn't really flesh out what, like, they just throw something in there, especially with like his daughter and stuff in the movie.
Yeah, there were some moments where they introduced these plot points about certain characters that they hadn't really bothered to flesh out in the past. And like, oh, okay, so he has children, and hang on, I thought he just married this lady like 2 years ago, but he has children who are like 10 years old, and so I guess there was a longer time span there that I wasn't aware of.
And it was hard because, like, you never knew what year it was, but, like, a lot of time went by throughout this whole movie.
Right, yeah, I think it covered, well, by the end of the movie, it had covered like 40 years. So yeah, a lot of time went by. So as a whole, what would you rate this movie on a scale of A through F?
Okay, I'm going to give this movie a high C. High C. I liked it, but I wouldn't necessarily go and see it again because I guess it's not really my thing.
I'm actually going to give this movie an A. I liked it a low A because I had some issues with it, but overall I still really enjoyed it. I would see it again. I have never seen the Broadway musical and know hardly anything about it, so I cannot say how it lives up to that, but all I can say is as a movie, I really like it and think it's really well done.
Thanks for watching this episode of Worth Watching.
Remember to like the video if you liked it, comment down below on your thoughts on Jersey Boys, the musical or the movie, and how they compare, and of course subscribe if you want to see more. Bye.